Good morning, yogis. My name is Daniel. This is Daniel Lee Yoga, and thank you for joining me for practice today. Happy holidays as I join you from one of the last couple weeks in December here. Hope you all are staying warm and cozy for those watching back up in Baltimore. Heard you got a little bit of snow last week, so well, maybe some snow and slush and ice and all that fun stuff. So hopefully you're enjoying the holidays and the change in the weather and whatnot. And now that we've transitioned through the winter solstice, winter has begun officially, and the days will start to get longer. We'll start to get some more sunshine. So looking forward to that. So trying to bring as much sunshine as I can to you from here down in the Dominican Republic. And for today's class, we have a 60-minute Vinyasa based class. And what we'll be focusing on is our internal observations and our alignment, and just looking at different ways we can observe ourselves in our postures that we may be familiar with and some that we may be not. And that'll get started right when we start class as we move into a posture that you may not be familiar with as far as starting class. So it'll be a fun way to jump right into that. As far as props, if you have a block or just a pillow or something that will help, we'll be using that right away. So keep that nearby. Not totally necessary. We can also use our mat to fold up to make a little bit of elevation for what we'll be doing today. But otherwise, if you have a strap, you can keep that nearby. Not totally necessary. Otherwise, I think that's all we really need for class today. So again, thank you for joining me. Got Oliver and Coney nearby. They'll be around. Hopefully you can hear and see me again, trying to test to make sure everything looks good, sounds good in this new place. And I think we're ready to go ahead and get started. So what we'll do is make sure you have your prop or your pillow if you're using that. And we're actually going to start class at the wall. So I have a little bit of wall space here. I'm going to move my mat there. So hopefully you have some place in your place of residence where you can move to the wall. So I'm going to scoot my mat to the wall with the short edge facing the wall so that it comes out. Beginning class in a pose called Viparita Karani. That's legs up the wall. So to move into that, once your mat is at the wall, hopefully you can still see me and you're still in a good spot. The easiest way to get into this is to start on your side. So I'm starting on my left side, and what I'm trying to do is get my left sit bone as close to the wall as I can. And from here, then you'll send your legs up the wall as you come onto your back. Resting your heels on the wall, toes are slightly flexed. And now, once you're here, you have the option to add either your block or your prop, your pillow underneath your sacrum. So you can kind of play around with it, see what you prefer. And once you do that, see if you can move a little bit closer to the wall. You want to be as close as you can, so sometimes you have to wiggle a little bit. And then again, notice if you prefer your prop or block, you can keep it there. Otherwise, you can place it off to the side. As far as your hands, they can rest either on your chest and your belly or just resting down by your sides. So I like to think of this pose as slightly active, slightly passive. We need to keep our legs up. We need to have a slight engagement or else they might kind of fall off to the side. So even though we're using this time to transition and connect to our breathing as we begin, just notice that this does require a little bit of attention to keep yourself nice and conformed here. So either way, with or without your prop, backs of your shoulders and the back of your head is on the mat. If you like, you can gently let your eyes soften or your gaze close. And begin to settle here. Again, if you're just joining class, we're beginning in Viparina Karani, legs up the wall. So you'll want to move as close as you can to the wall with your legs directly above your hips. Feet are slightly engaged with the toes flexed. And just take time to soften into the posture here. Now, beginning of class is always a great time to start connecting to our breathing. Knowing that as we move through class, we'll have maybe certain challenges or opportunities, we can think of them, to reconnect to our breath. It's easy to forget that it's there, that it's helping to stabilize us, and that it's always with us. So use this time now to observe your breathing. Taking inventory of your lengths for the inhales and exhales. Again, just observing. Maybe they're different, maybe they're the same length. And maybe if you've been joining me week by week or have other classes or times where you are observing your breathing, perhaps at certain times of the week or certain weeks in the month, your breathing might change. But the only way to notice that difference is to observe. Observing your breath on a regular basis gives you that opportunity to compare. And we'll be holding here for another minute. Just allow yourself to sink in. Legs are still slightly active here. Even observing how the air flows in and out through your body. Taking a couple more deep breaths here. Last breath here. And now, if your eyes were closed, you can gently start to blink your eyes open. And to exit out of this pose, we'll take our time here, gently letting our ankles fall down. Keep them connected to the wall as you bend your knees into your chest. Now from here, just as we came in, gently roll off to your side. If you're on your block, you can remove that first. If you're on your pillow, you can just gently fall to the side. Once you're there, just remove your prop. Use your top arm to gently lift yourself up. No rush here. And you can move back into your main area. So if you did move your mat to the wall, just go ahead and move back to where we started. And once you move your mat back, come back onto your backs, hugging your knees into your chest. Just do a check just to make sure we're all good. Oh, hi, Ellen. Thank you for checking in. Always great to see you. So just on your back with your knees hugged into your chest, just gently start rocking from side to side. Giving that low back a little bit of massage here. All right, and coming back to stillness, still hugging your knees into your chest. Now keep hugging your right knee in. Let's extend and straighten that left leg straight out. Bring the left heel down to the mat. Your arms are still wrapped around either your shins or your thigh of that right leg. Keep flexing both feet so the toes draw back towards your face. And we'll spin this inner left thigh in and down towards the mat. Draw that right knee in a little bit closer as you extend out through the left heel. Keep your shoulders in the back of the head on the mat, holding here for one more breath. And exhale, let's switch. So draw the left knee in, extend and straighten that right leg straight out. Release the right heel to the mat. Again, flex both toes, drawing back towards your face. Spinning this inner right thigh in and down towards the mat. Very subtle, but it helps keep the knee and the toes facing up towards the sky. Keep drawing that left knee in as you extend out through that right heel for one more breath. And now, stay where you are. Extend your arms overhead, nice and long. Thumbs down, pinkies up. So arms are extended overhead. Notice if your stomach already starts to round here, try to draw the navel in and down to have more of your spine connecting onto the mat. And from here, we'll switch. So we draw the right knee in, extend and straighten that left leg straight out. Release the left heel to the mat. So your arms are staying overhead. You're just using your hip flexors to draw that right knee in. Same actions as before, you just don't have the help of your hands here. So again, notice how is your spine starting to arch. We still want a nice long spine here. So we're extending out through that left heel, extending out through the fingertips. Hold for one more breath. Keep your arms nice and long. Let's switch. Draw the left knee in, extend and straighten that right leg straight out. Release the right heel down to the mat. Keep flexing the toes. Legs and feet are engaged. Knee draws in, left knee draws in. As right heel extends out. You're still spinning that right thigh. Inner right thigh in and down. Keeping the back of the head and the shoulders on the mat. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, we'll switch again. Draw the right knee in. This time when you extend the left leg out, we'll hover. So left heel hovers an inch or two off the mat. Keep drawing that right knee in. Again, you really need to start to engage the abdominal muscles here. Drawing the navel in and down. Hold for one more breath. Exhale, let's switch. Arms nice and long. Left knee in, right leg extends straight out. Right heel hovers an inch or two. Keep flexing both feet. Arms are still overhead. Draw the left knee in. Extend out through the right heel. Hold for one more breath. And now exhale, draw everything back in. Wrap your hands around your thighs this time. Now, wrap both hands around your right thigh. Extend that left leg straight out. With the right knee in toward your chest, begin to extend and straighten that right leg. Hi, Kuni. So left leg is extended, releasing the left heel down. Right leg is straight. Bottom of the right foot faces up towards the sky. So we're drawing that right thigh in as you extend that left heel out. So same actions here, we just have both legs straightened and we're able to use our arms here. Hold for one more breath. Exhale, let's switch. So draw both knees in, extend that right leg straight out. With the left knee drawing in, extend and straighten that left foot up to the sky. Right heel's on the mat, flexing both feet. Gently use your arms to draw that right thigh in towards your chest. Keep drawing the navel in and down, holding for one more breath. And exhale, draw both knees in, wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. And we'll come through to tabletop. So your way, if you like to cross your ankles, roll up and down your spine a couple times with your chin tucked. After you roll up and down a couple times, you can come through over your knees into tabletop, or you can just let your legs fall off to the side, come into your tabletop here. Oh, hi, Donna. Nice to see you this morning. All right, moving back into our tabletop here. Knees underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders, checking in, tops of the feet to the mat. So again, knees and feet are hips width distance. Arms are shoulder width distance, a little bit farther apart. Firming those outer upper arms in so the elbow creases start to face forward. Fingers are nice and spread, pressing down through the base of each finger and each palm. Gentle press of the tops of the feet and the shins into the mat to engage the legs. Nice active pose here. Now, just like when we were on our backs, we're drawing the navel in and up to create a nice long spine. Chin is slightly tucked, gaze up towards the top of your mat. Hold for one more breath here. All right, moving right into our cow-cat. So on your inhale, drop your navel, tailbone lifts, heart comes forward, look up. Exhale, round your back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy, cat pose. Keep moving on your breath, inhaling through your cow. Exhaling through your cat. Keep moving on your breath, sending your heart forward on your cow pose. And on your exhale, shoulders separate, draw the navel in and up. Keep moving, 2 more each way on your breath. Use this as an opportunity to connect your breath to your movement. And once you finish your final cat pose, meet me back in tabletop, no rush here. And from your tabletop, I'm just going to turn so you can see me better, but stay in your tabletop. Let's extend the right leg straight out to the side. Now the right toes are going to face away from your body. That may mean your right knee has to bend, which is perfectly fine. So right leg and right toes extend out. Start to walk your hands back. Place them at your hips and lift your torso up. Now, if you already feel like this is too much on your knee to stay here, just roll up your mat, add a little bit more cushion, and place your knee back down on your mat there. So do what works for you. Make sure you're nice and comfortable here. With your hands at your hips, if you can start to walk these right toes out a little bit farther so that your leg starts to straighten, see if you can do that. Shoulder, hips, and knee, try to stack in one line. Let's extend both arms overhead. Biceps next to ears, palms face each other. Release the right hand down the right leg. Take a nice deep inhale as you extend up through those left fingertips. Exhale, side bend over that right leg, holding for a couple breaths here. So really lengthening out through that left side of the body, but not forgetting about this right side. We don't want to crunch these ribs here. Try to have a little bit of space between each rib. Keep the bicep next to the ear. And if you'd like, maybe your gaze starts to turn up towards those fingertips. Holding for one more breath. Press down through your knee and your feet. Lift back up to center, both arms overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down in front of you. Come back into that tabletop, back to center where we started. Now we'll switch to the other side. Extend that left leg straight out. Again, left toes face away. This is a slight hip opener here. Walking the hands back, lifting your torso up. Place your hands at your hips. Again, if you need a little bit of cushion underneath your right knee, take the time to protect your knee that way. So with the toes facing away from your body, let's inhale as we bring the arms up overhead. Release the left hand down, that left leg. It's inhale as we lengthen through our spine, fingertips to the sky. And exhale, side bend over this left side. So again, this left knee can stay bent. If you can't quite straighten it, that's more than okay. Just try to have the entire foot still on the mat. Keeping the bicep next to ear, really lengthen through that right side of the body. Breathing into those left side ribs, creating little gaps of space where you can. Holding for one more breath. And let's inhale, bring both arms back to center. Exhale, hands down, and gently release yourself back into that tabletop where we started. And we'll send our hips back towards our heels, tops of the feet to the mat, and lift our torso up. This is our Virasana pose. Now, if this is too much for you to sit in your Virasana here, you can place a block in between your feet. And if that doesn't work for you, just come into a comfortable seat that works for you. You can sit cross-legged if you'd like. So choose whatever seat works for you. Nice to see you too. Oh, thank you, Donna. Great for you to be here for class today. Okay, so once you've chosen your seat, working on our wrists a little bit. So let's bring the backs of our hands to the mat, whatever seat you have. Fingers face back behind you. Bring the backs of the wrists. So try to keep the entire backs of the hands onto the mat, and we'll gently shift forward and back. So we're lifting off our hips if you're in your Virasana, and if you're just seated, you're just gently swaying forward and back. All right, let's lift our torso back up. Let's switch that up. So bring the palms to the mat, fingers still face back behind you. And again, shifting forward and back, try to keep the entire palm on the mat. All right, and gently start to lift your torso back up. You're still in your comfortable seat. If your legs were crossed, go ahead and switch whichever leg is in front. Now, extend the arms behind you and intersect the fingers behind you so you just have a nice little clasp behind your back, adding a little bit of neck rotation. So drop your chin to your chest. With our little neck rotations, we'll take this nice and slow. So start to roll your chin to the right side so your right ear comes towards your right shoulder. Then let your head gently fall back, gaze comes up. As your head rolls through center, left ear to left shoulder. And your chin falls down, comes through center. Let's do that one more time this way. Right ear, right shoulder. Head gently falls back, gaze is up. Left ear, left shoulder, chin falls to chest. And stop in the center, we'll move the opposite directions. Now left ear, left shoulder. Let the head fall back. You gaze up, coming through center, right ear, right shoulder. Chin falls down, coming through center. One more time this way, left ear, left shoulder. Head falls back, gaze comes up. Move through center, right ear, right shoulder. Slow and controlled, dropping the chin down, coming back to center, staying here. And then releasing the clasp of your hands, lifting your chin back up, parallel to the mat. We'll come back into our tabletop. So back in our tabletop, wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Step your right foot back, curl the toes under. Step the left foot back, curl the toes under, plank pose. From here, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. It's our first downward facing dog, so let's take our dog for a walk. Maybe lift one heel, lift the other. Maybe you lift one arm and lift the other. Just do what you need to do for a couple moments here. We'll call this the freestyle portion of class. You get to choose exactly what calls out to you here. And again, you can always drop down to your knees, do the same thing in tabletop rather than downward facing dog. Just gives you a little more accessibility here. All right, 2 more breaths in your movement. And now we'll all meet back in our downward facing dog. And now inhale as you gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance. Stay in your forward fold. Ragdoll pose. Grab opposite elbows. Let your head hang heavy. Knees can be bent. You can rest your chest on your thighs. Have your ears next to your biceps. And if you'd like, you can gently sway from side to side, allowing that low back to release here. Make sure your feet are nice and parallel. Now, switch whichever forearm is on top, just balancing out. Gently swaying from side to side still, if you'd like, or you can stay right in center. All right, let's all meet back in center. Release the clasp of your elbows. Let your arms hang down nice and heavy. Press down into your feet. We'll start to roll up our spines one vertebrae at a time, coming up to standing. Just take it nice and slow. So press down through your feet, then the inner thighs in and back. Start to stack one vertebrae on top of each other as you roll up to standing. And once you're up to standing, raise both arms overhead, palms face each other. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, make sure your feet are nice and parallel, heels behind those center toes, arms down to the sides, palms face forward. Try to draw your tailbone down, lift those frontal hip points up, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take one more nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, press down through your feet. Let's inhale, bring the arms up overhead, adding a twist. Exhale, twist to your right and extend your arms out to shoulder height, palms face away from you. We'll inhale right back to center, arms overhead. Opposite side, twist to your left, arms extend out, shoulder height. Keep moving on your breath. So you inhale through center, palms face each other. Exhale to the right, palms lower to shoulder height. Inhale through center. And exhale to the left. Let's do that 2 more times each way on your breath. You might be moving a little slower or a little faster than me. That's fine. Just try to keep your hips facing forward. So we're really initiating the movement from the navel up here, with the neck being the last thing to turn. Once you finish your final one, meet me back in center with the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. All right, make sure you're still at the top of your mat. Feet or hips width distance, arms down to the side. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, let's inhale, bring the arms up overhead, palms face each other. Hold for a breath here. Soften your shoulders down, biceps next to ears. On your exhale, keep that nice long spine. Hinge forward, knees slightly bend. Come into your forward fold. Releasing your arms down, fingertips or palms to the mat, blocks or shins. Let the crown of your head draw down as your hips draw up to the sky. Now place your hands to the tops of your shins. On your inhale, lift halfway. Halfway lift here. Torso parallel to the mat, chin slightly tucked. Shoulders draw away from the ears. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, release back down into your forward fold. Again, knees can bend, releasing the arms down. Crown of the head draws down. All right, coming back up to standing. Press down through your feet. Inhale, bring the arms out and up overhead. Palms face each other. Again, stay here for a breath. Soften those shoulders down. Draw the tailbone down. Lift those frontal hip points up. And exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Let's repeat that. One breath, one movement. Press down through your feet. Let's inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, nice long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up. Torso lifts back up to standing. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, adding on. Press down through the feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. And exhale, forward fold. This time, plant your palms, step your right foot back, step your left foot back, plank pose. We'll drop our knees down, firm those outer upper arms in. Take an inhale as you shift forward. Bend your elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Press your feet down, hips down. Inhale as you lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Draw those elbows in, ankles in, tailbone draws down towards the heels. And exhale, gently release your forehead back down. Keep the knees down, curl the toes under. Press yourself up in a knees down plank pose. And then lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take 3 or 4 breaths here in your down dog. That sequence of movement is a vinyasa. And if you prefer any other way to move through your vinyasa, feel free to take that for you. I'll go through a couple different options, so you're welcome to follow along. And if you want to skip your vinyasa, you can always just meet back in down dog or stay in a tabletop or child's pose. Holding your down dog for one more breath here. Now let's inhale as we gaze forward. Bend your knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale as you lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, hands down through the center down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, adding on, press down through your feet. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Place your palms, step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Knees down, shift forward, bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Push your feet down, hips down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Send your heart forward, draw your tailbone back towards your heels. Hold for one more breath. Exhale, gently release. Keep those knees down, curl the toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. From our down dog here, we'll shift forward, lower down to our knees, come back to our tabletop position. Make sure your wrists are back underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips, tops of the feet to the mat. All right, begin by extending your left arm forward here. Pinky down, thumb up. Extend the opposite leg, so right leg extends back, flexing the foot, raise the thigh up to hip height. A little bit of a balance here. I want you to notice how your shoulders and your hips move. We still want both shoulders and both hips to be equidistant from the mat. So really press out through that right heel, extend through those left fingertips, hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release back into your tabletop. Recenter before we move to the other side. All right, so other side here, extend the right fingertips forward, right arm forward, shoulder height. Opposite left leg extends back, flexing the toes so they face down towards the mat. And with that right arm extended forward, thumb is up, pinky down, palm faces in. And those back left toes are flexed so they face down towards the ground. Draw the navel in and up, chin is slightly tucked, gaze towards the top of your mat. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that arm down, release the knee down. Let's curl the toes under. Lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. We'll inhale as we gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk your step to the top of the mat. Let's inhale as we lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through your feet. Inhale, raise the arms out and up overhead. And exhale, hands down through center, down to the sides. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, we're going for a little bit of a journey here, so let's make sure we're at the top of our mat. Arms down to the sides, palms face each other, palms face forward. Draw that tailbone down, lift those frontal hip points up. Press down through your feet, and on your inhale, raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Drop your right knee down to the mat. Keep those right toes curled. Right palm under right shoulder, either fingertips or palm to the mat. Left arm extends out to the left side. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist. Send those left fingertips up to the sky. Maybe the palm starts to face forward. Hold for one breath. And exhale, gently release both hands down. Now, bring the top of the right foot to the mat. The right knee still faces down. Make sure the left foot is on the left side of the mat. Right foot is on the right side. Press down through both feet, and on your inhale, lift your torso up. Bring your hands to your hips. Now, again, if you feel like this is too much on your right knee, you can always fold up your mat, add a little bit more cushion. Or if you have a towel or another prop, you can place that underneath your knee. With your hands at your hips, use your thumbs to draw the tailbone down, fingers to lift the frontal hip points up. Really lift up out of your hips here. Draw this left hip back and the right hip forward so your hips square forward. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take one more inhale and exhale. All right, shift forward, lower your hands back down to the mat. So we're staying low, but we'll curl the right toes under, lift the right knee up, and now drop the right heel down so the right toes face the long edge side of your mat. Setting up for a warrior two pose. Walk these left toes into the center of the mat so you have heel to arch alignment. Left foot to the inside of left arm to the inside of the left foot. Right arm up to the sky. Press down through your feet. Inhale, lift up into your warrior two pose. So left toes face the long edge side. Right toes face the long edge side, left toes face forward. Arms are out to a T, soften the shoulders down away from the ears, palms face down. Now on your inhale, straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, warrior two. All right, place your hands back to your hips. Straighten that left leg. Parallel your feet so both toes face the long edge side of your mat. Adding a forward fold here. So keep your hands at your hips. Take a nice deep inhale as you send your heart up towards the sky. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Keep your hips and ankles in one line as you send your heart forward. Once you lower about halfway, you can release your fingertips or palms to blocks or to the mat. Just keep them shoulder width distance. Now slightly tuck your chin, allow the crown of your head to draw down. And if you're up a little bit higher, if you can't quite fold forward, you can keep your hands at your hips here. Otherwise, if you're forward folding a little bit more, you can start to walk your hands back. Maybe the wrist creases line up with the ankles. Either way, keep your hands shoulder width distance and just bend your elbows as you walk your hands back. Wherever you are, shift more weight forward into the toes, but keep your heels on the mat. Really firm the outer thighs in as you draw the kneecaps up towards your hips. Just like in our forward fold with our legs together, we really want to lift our hips up to the sky, let the crown of our head draw down towards the floor. Hold for one more breath. And now everyone, walk your hands out so the hands are underneath your shoulders. Bring your hands to your hips, slight bend in the knees, and inhale as you lift yourself back up to where we started. All right, torso back up. We're reversing on the other side. So we're starting with our warrior two here. So now our right toes will turn to face the short edge side of the mat. Right knee bends over that right ankle and look for that heel to arch alignment here. Extend the arms out to a T, palm face down, and gaze over those right fingertips. Now on your inhale, straighten the front leg, bring both arms overhead. Exhale, rebend, warrior two. 3 more times. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Twice more. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time here. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. From here, spiral both arms forward and down to the either side of your right foot. I know you might be facing the back of your mat. That's fine. Come up on that back left heel. Drop your left knee down. Again, if you know you need padding underneath your knee, go ahead and make sure you have that set up. Right foot is on the right side of the mat. Left foot is on the left side. Bring the top of that left foot down to the mat. Press down through your feet and lift your torso up, hands to your hips. Use your thumbs to draw the tailbone down, fingers to lift those frontal hip points up. Lift out of your hips here. Draw the right hip back as the left hip draws forward. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. All right, we'll shift forward. We'll lower our hands down to the mat. Left palm underneath that left shoulder, right arm out to the side. Palm faces down. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, right fingertips to the sky. Add your twist. Maybe the right palm starts to face towards the short edge of the mat. Keep firming the thighs in towards the midline. And on your exhale, lower that right arm down to the right side of your right foot. Now, with that left knee down, we'll curl the left toes under, lift the left knee up, send the right foot to meet the back foot. We'll drop our knees down. We'll shift forward, lower all the way to the mat. So stay here for a moment. Again, I know you might be facing the back edge of your mat, which is fine. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. With your nose or your forehead resting on the mat, extend your arms down beside you. Thumbs down, pinkies up, so palms face in. Really press the tops of your feet down, press your hips down. And on your inhale, lift your head up, chest up, Shavasana. Just like our Bhujangasana Cobra pose, this time without our arms underneath our shoulders. So we're still extending the heart forward, draw the tailbone towards the heels. Maybe lift the arms up off the mat. Palms are facing in, hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently lower everything back down to the mat. Place your wrists back underneath your shoulders, fingers facing forward. And so have your wrists underneath your elbows here, next to your ribs. With your knees down, curl the toes under. Let's press ourselves up in a knees down plank pose and lift our hips up and back, downward facing dog. From here, inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Back of the mat. Let's inhale as we lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. So stay low. We're going to complete our circle here. So keep the left foot forward, step the right leg back. Dropping the right knee down, press down through the feet, and inhale as you lift your torso up. This time, arms come up overhead. So left foot forward, right foot back. Arms overhead, biceps next to ears. So same thing here. Try to draw the right hip forward as the left hip draws back, and lift out of your hips, drawing the tailbone down. Holding for one more breath here. And exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. With that right heel up, lift the right knee up, drop the heel down so the right toes face the short edge side of your mat. Press down through the feet, left arm to the inside of that left foot, right arm to the sky, lifting up into your warrior two. So, I might be facing the other side of the mat. Whichever side you're facing, we have our left foot forward, right leg back. We're settling into our warrior two, holding here for a couple breaths. So arms are extended out to a T, palms face down, left knee tracks over that left ankle. Press back to the outer edge of that right foot as this front left thigh firms in and under. Holding for one more breath. Place your hands to your hips, extend and straighten that left leg. Parallel your feet to the long edge side of your mat, and we'll switch to the other side. So externally rotate this right leg so right toes face the short edge side. Bend the right knee over that right ankle. Make sure those left toes face the long edge side and extend the arms out to a T, palms face down. So again, you may or may not be able to see me, but hopefully you can hear me. So we're using all of our senses here. Maybe you're facing one way or the other of your mat. We're just holding our warrior two here. So just soften those shoulders away from the ears. Right knee tracks over that right ankle. Keep pressing back to the outer edge of that left foot. Front thigh draws in and under. Hold for one more breath. And now spiral both arms forward and down to either side of your right foot. Come up on that back left heel. Drop the left knee down, top of the left foot to the mat. Press down through your feet and inhale as you lift your torso up, lift your arms up overhead. Palms face each other, biceps next to ears. So hopefully you're facing the front edge side of your mat. We completed our circle here. Keep drawing this right hip back, left hip forward to square your hips forward. Lifting out of your hips, drawing the tailbone down. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, spiral both arms forward. Curl the left toes under, lift the left knee up. Send the right foot to meet your back foot. We'll vinyasa through your way. If you're following with me, we'll shift forward, lower our knees down. Bend the elbows, lower all the way to the mat. Bring the tops of your feet down, press your hips down. Inhale, lift your head up, chest up, baby cobra. Keep your knees down, curl the toes under as you lower. Then you lift your hips up and back. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. Remember, you can always skip your vinyasa, come right to downward facing dog, or move into tabletop or child's pose to reconnect to your breath or reground yourself. In your down dog, just keep pressing your chest back toward your thighs, heels draw back and down. Holding for one more breath here. Let's inhale as we gaze forward, bend the knees, exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet hips width distance, inhale, lifting halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Press down through the feet. Let's inhale as we raise the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down through center and down to the sides. Take a couple breaths here. We have one more sequence we're going to move through together. So Hopefully you're still at the top of your mat. If you're not there, come meet me at the top. This time bring your big toes together, heels slightly separate, arms down to the side, palms face forward. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. All right, let's chair pose. Bend our knees, send our hips back, arms forward. Biceps next to ears, palms face each other. Make sure you're shifting more weight into the heels rather than the toes. Take a peek at your toes. If you can't see them, shift your hips back a little more. Now bring your hands to the center of your chest, adding a twist here. So we'll inhale as we lengthen, keep the low body just as it is, and exhale, twist and turn from the navel up, turning to your right. So again, low body stays there. We twist to our right. Option to stay up here if you want to release the left elbow to the right knee. You also have the option to split the arms, palms face away from your body. Whatever option you choose, hold for one more breath. Now exhale, come back to center, hands to the center of your chest. We'll inhale to prepare for the other side, nice long spine. And exhale, twist and turn to the left this time. Same options as before. If you want, drop the right elbow to the left knee. Or stay up, split your arms, shoulder height, palms face away. Keep drawing that right hip back to keep the hips squared forward. One more breath here. And now come back to center, both hands to the center. And exhale, release, forward fold. Just stay in your forward fold for a couple breaths. I know that was a lot to hold, but we got through it. Knees can slightly bend. Take one more inhale and exhale. All right, let's inhale as we lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms, step your right foot back, step your left foot back. We'll lift our hips up and back to downward facing dog. From our down dog, we'll lift the right leg up and back to hip height, flexing the toes, just like when we were in our tabletop. With those toes flexed, make sure the toes and the knees face down towards the mat. Firm those outer upper arms in, and on your inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend the right knee into your chest. Step the right foot up to the top of the mat. This time you have a couple options. That left knee can stay up, or to make it a little more accessible, drop the left knee down. Either way, press into your feet. Make sure your right foot is on the right side of the mat, left foot is on the left side. And lift your torso up, lift your arms up overhead. So again, that left knee is up or down. Now keep your arms up overhead, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Drop your hands down to your hips, whatever option you're choosing. Now, if your knee is down, you'll shift forward 45 degrees and you'll stay here. Otherwise, if your knee is up, you'll shift forward 45 degrees and move into Warrior 3. So if your knee is up, take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, shift forward, lift that left leg up to hip height, balancing, flexing that left foot. So the chest lowers to parallel to the mat. Back left foot is flexed. Drop that left hip down, firm this outer right thigh in. If you'd like, you can extend the right arms back, whether your knee is down or up. With the thumbs facing down, pinkies facing up, palms facing in. Whatever option you're choosing, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take one more inhale. And if you're up in Warrior 3, bend the front knee, release the left foot back down. Everyone bring your hands to your hips, lower the left knee down to the mat. Bring your arms up overhead for a breath. And exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. With the left toes curled under, lift the left knee up, send the right foot to meet the back foot. Lifting the hips up and back to downward facing dog. We'll shift to the other side. So now lift the left leg up and back to hip height. Stay here for a breath as you flex through those left toes. Hold for one more breath. And now inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the left knee into your chest. Step the left foot up to the top of the mat. Again, same options here. Make sure the left foot is on the left side, right foot is on the right. Knee can be down or up. Now lifting your torso up, bringing your hands to your hips. Take a nice deep inhale and exhale. Now bring the arms up overhead, palms face each other, biceps next to ears. Keep drawing the tailbone down, lifting the frontal hip points up. Draw that left thigh back, right thigh forward. And now release the hands back to the center of your chest and down to your sides. So hands to your hips. Same options as before. If you're up, if that back knee is up, you can shift forward into your warrior three. Otherwise, with the back knee down, we'll shift forward 45 degrees, stay here. Whatever option you're choosing, firm the thighs in towards the midline. Really press down through that front left heel. If you like, extend your arms back behind you, thumbs down, pinkies up, palms face in. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Hold for one more breath. If you're in your warrior three, bend that front knee, release the back foot back down. Release the back knee down, everyone. Bring your hands to your hips, lift your torso up. Let's inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And exhale, spiral both arms forward and down. Last vinyasa here. So we'll curl the right toes under, lift the right knee up. Send the left foot to meet the back foot. Vinyasa your way, or meet us in down dog. Knees down or up as you shift forward, tops of the feet to the mat. Add your back bend. With the knees down, curl the toes under. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's all shift forward into our child's pose. Lower our knees to the mat, tops of the feet to the mat, hips back to the heels, forehead to the mat, child's pose. Option for your arms to be extended out nice and long, or bring your your wrists next to your ankles, palms face up. If your forehead doesn't quite meet the mat, you can place a block, or you can place a little towel underneath it. Maybe you need to lift your hips up off your heels. Just take a couple nice, slow, deep breaths here. One more breath here in your child's pose. All right, extend your arms out nice and long. If they're not already, begin to lift your hips up, lift your forehead up. Send your legs off to the side. We'll come into a seat with our legs extended out in front of us. All right, with our legs nice and long, extend out, arms down to the sides, adding a twist here. Let's draw the right knee into our chest. Option for this right foot to be on the right side or the left side of that knee. Now, the option that you choose, make sure the bottom of your foot completely makes contact with the ground. So if the right foot comes to the left side of the knee and it doesn't quite meet the ground, just bring it back to the inside. Now release the right fingertips back behind you. Inhale as you raise the left arm up to the sky. And exhale as you twist to the right, left elbow, right knee. Try to draw that right shoulder back, twisting from the navel up. Maybe start to turn your neck to look over that right shoulder. Just gently using that left arm as an external lever to help you twist a little more. Take one more nice deep inhale. And exhale, gently release back to center. Both arms down to the side. Extend both legs nice and long. Shake the legs out a little bit before we move to the other side. All right, this time left knee draws into your chest. Same option as before, left foot to the inside or outside of the right knee. Just make sure the whole bottom of the foot makes contact with the mat. Now left fingertips behind you. Raise the right arm up to the sky on your inhale. Exhale, twist and turn to your left, right elbow, left knee. Try to keep a nice long spine here, really still pressing down through that left big toe, flexing the right toes back towards your face. Gently using that right elbow to increase your twist here. We inhale as we lengthen. Exhale, twist. Keep drawing that left shoulder back. Maybe you turn your neck to look over, back behind you. Hold for one more breath here. And exhale, gently releasing back to center. Extend both legs nice and long. Shake them out a little bit. And now, bring your arms down next to your hips. Fingers face forward, wrists back. Bend your knees. Place the bottoms of the feet down onto the mat. Make sure your feet and your knees are hips width distance so they're not touching, they're separated here. Moving into two different options of our Purva Tanasana. So pressing down through your feet, and on your inhale, lift the hips up, pelvis up, chest up, moving into this inverted kind of tabletop pose here. Your neck can stay engaged with your chin tucked, or if you feel safe, you can gently and slowly let your head fall back. Maybe you gaze back behind you. But whatever option you're choosing, make sure you're only gazing straight up and lifting your hips up to the sky. Really press down through your feet, spin those inner thighs in and down, hold for one more breath. And exhale, gently and slowly lower your sit bones back down onto the mat. Now we have the option to do that one more time. And if you'd like to advance, we'll extend our legs nice and long. So if that was challenging for you, you can repeat that, or you can just stay right here and rest. If you'd like to move on, you'll straighten your legs, point your toes, same thing. Press your hands down into the mat. And on your inhale, lift your hips up, pelvis up, chest up, into this full version of Purva Tanasana. Letting your head gently fall back if you feel safe. Otherwise, keep it engaged, chin slightly tucked. Try to lift your hips up wherever you are, firming those outer upper arms in. Hold for one more breath. And exhale, wherever you are, gently lower your sit bones back down onto the mat. Use your hands with your knees bent to send your hips up to your heels. Wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs and gently lower onto your backs. Once you're on your back, gently draw the knees back into your chest. Gentle squeeze here. All right, now from here, extend the arms out to a T shape, palms face up. Bring the knees over the hips and shins parallel to the mat. Feet are flexed, knees and feet together. So you're looking for that 90-degree angle. Now really draw the navel in and down. We're lowering our knees, but we want to really take our time. So with the arms extended out to a T, palms face up, press the backs of the hands into the mat. Draw the navel in and down. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. And exhale, slowly and gently lower the knees off to the right side. So take your time, go as slowly as possible. Once your knees lowered to capacity, if they don't quite touch the ground, you can place a block, a prop, a pillow underneath them. But try to reroute your left shoulder onto the mat if it popped up. You also have the option to turn your neck to look over those left fingertips for the full variation of this Jathara Parivartanasana. Just allow gravity to do the work here. So try to settle and sink into any parts of your body that might still be a little tense here. Just allow this full spinal twist to envelop your body. 2 more nice, slow, long, deep breaths. One more breath. Now bring your gaze back up to center. Really press the backs of your hands into the mat and slowly lift your knees back up to center. Still looking for that 90-degree angle, knees and feet together. Take a nice deep inhale to prepare. Exhale, gently lower the knees off to the left. Again, as slow and controlled as you can. Once the knees lower, again, move your prop to the other side if you're using that. And then with your arms extended out to a T, if you'd like, you can turn your neck so the gaze comes over those right fingertips. Again, just softly settle into this pose, allowing yourself to release. If that right shoulder popped up, just reroute down that right shoulder on the mat. Hold for 2 slow, deep breaths. All right, gaze comes back up to center. Gently and slowly lift the knees back up to center. Hug the knees into your chest. Wrap your hands around your shins or your thighs. And now lift your shoulders in the back of your head off the mat. Come into a nice egg shape here. Try to squeeze everything together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, extend. Extend the legs long. Extend the arms long overhead. Point the toes away from the body, extend the fingertips nice and long, extend and stretch, stretch, stretch. And exhale, release. Arms down to the sides, palms face up. Let the knees and the feet fall out to the side. Settling into our final pose of practice here, our Shavasana pose. You have the option to choose any Shavasana that works for you. You can stay here in the typical version on your back. If you'd like to move into our Viparita Karani, legs up the wall where we started practice, you're welcome to move into that. Or whatever other version or variation, just know that this is a time to release. It's our final pose of practice and an opportunity to let the fruits of our labor sink in. A settled body is a settled mind. Whatever option you're choosing, you can always soften your gaze or close your eyes completely. Really allow yourself to fully and completely envelop yourself into your posture. Releasing any last little bits of tension. Softening the muscles in your face and in your jaw. And finally, releasing any control over the breath. Just be here. Now beginning to bring some awareness back into your body. If your legs are up the wall, you can gently let your knees draw into your chest, rolling over onto your side. And come, let's all meet in our traditional Shavasana. Legs extended long, arms down to the sides. From here, you can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here on your back. Now let's gently draw our knees into our chest as you roll over to one side of your body. Let your top arm rest on your bottom, top knee rest on your bottom knee. And stay for a breath here on your side. And now try to keep your eyes softened or your gaze closed as you use your top arm to press yourself up to a comfortable, cross-legged, seated position to complete your practice today. In your comfortable seat, you can rest your palms on tops of your knees. Palms can face up, or bring your hands into the center of your chest. Let's all take a nice deep inhale in together. Through the mouth, exhale. Thank you all for joining me for your practice today. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. All right. Wonderful practice, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really appreciate you coming out here and getting a practice in midweek, Wednesday morning. I know it's holiday season, so hopefully you get to enjoy some time off of work or some time with your family that's around you, or maybe virtually this year. But hopefully you do get to enjoy the holidays one way or another. Ellen and Donna, thank you so much for joining me and checking in. I always appreciate that, knowing that you're here practicing with me. And if you ever have any questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me. You can leave a chat, you can leave a comment in the video description. There's also other ways to reach out to me in the description. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Have a very happy holidays, and I'll see you next time in class. So thank you again. My name is Daniel. See you next time in practice. Peace.